Hi guys! How are you all today? I hope you've been keeping on your toes recently, because if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, it is currently nuptial flight season. This means you can easily catch a queen ant and start your own ant colony. How exciting! Today, you'll be able to witness the reaction of one of my colonies to their first ever meal. Make sure you stay until the end of the video, as I also have a few surprising updates regarding some of my other colonies. We have seen this species before, in the Antrum tour. Back when I shot this video, the queen was still on her own, busy taking care of the first generation of workers-to-be. Guys, let me introduce you to those newborn carpenter ant workers. They're only a couple days old. Aren't they just stunning? Now, for the newbies, let me quickly explain why those ants have never had a proper meal before. So, after the nuptial flight, which is the once-in-a-lifetime moment during which queen and male ants mate, the queens land on the ground and go on to found their own colony. Once they found a suitable nesting location, they'll be laying eggs that will turn into larvae, then into pupae, and finally into nanitics, the last stage to an adult worker. But this process takes several weeks, during which the brood will need feeding, cleaning, and general caring. In almost all cases, the queen takes onto her own reserves to feed her broods until the first generation of workers hatches. Those workers will finally be able to go out of the nests and find some food for the next generations. Basically, that means that the only food those nanitics have ever eaten is the equivalent of ant breast milk. So, today, it is time for a proper meal. I will start by giving them some fresh mealworm meat. This will bring all of the proteins necessary to the good development of the brood. In my years of innkeeping, I have observed that protein intakes often stimulates the queen into laying more eggs. After a couple of minutes, the workers weren't pretty keen on checking the food out, so the queen decided to take matters in her own mandibles. Eventually, one of the workers realized what she was missing, and she decided to give it a taste. Shortly, the other one did too. Look at how their antennas are shaking with excitement. How cute! I will also be offering them some carbs, sweet nectar. This one I purchased, but I also make some myself. There are multiple recipes for homemade nectar. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite one, and I'll make sure to try it with my ant colonies. Let's watch their reaction. Yep, I think that's a hit, guys. Look at how their abdomen fills up. This phenomenon is called a physogastry. It truly gives me a great sense of satisfaction seeing my pet ants with a full tummy for the very first time. The first meal is an important milestone in the life of a colony, and it's truly a beautiful one to witness. This kind of moments is part of why I absolutely love ant keeping. It's so satisfying and fulfilling to see a colony growing from a single queen to the first workers and then to a large and mature colony. Talking about bigger colonies, let me quickly update you on my Polyrachis colony. In last week's video, you saw me making a bioactive terrarium for them. Well, I've had to move them in a bit sooner than expected. Previously, they were nesting in a test tube, which I hoped would be enough for them while getting the terrarium ready. Clearly, it was not. Those ladies decided it was time to build. Only, there weren't many places to do so in this setup. So they claimed the foraging area. They started building a small structure around the sugar water test tube. You can easily imagine that this was far from ideal. I couldn't maintain a stable level of humidity in there. Also, I couldn't clean it properly. So I didn't have much of a choice and I decided to link their current setup to the vivarium. I have to say I was most pleased when, just the next day, they had officially moved in the terrarium. How great, I thought. Because there were a couple workers and eggs left in their old setup, I decided to leave it there until they were done. At this point, I was pretty confident everything was going smoothly. Imagine my surprise, waking up the next day and seeing the ants had moved back in the small foraging area and had started building a proper nest in there. So, I wait. Eventually, they'll realize conditions are much better in the terrarium and they'll move there. I've also got a bit of news regarding the other colony I recently acquired. Some of our members discovered they were part of the Fidoli genus. Congratulations, guys! To be precise, they are Fidoli yensis, a type of big-headed ants. They are called this way because of their large soldiers with rather disproportionate heads. Last time we've seen those guys, they were in a test tube setup linked to a small foraging area. I noticed they loved building stuff with the sand I put in there. So I thought it would be nice to create a setup in which they would be able to get creative with digging. That's why I made this. This is a 2-in-1 Formicarium. On the left here, that's a foraging area. On the right, you can find the nesting space. Substrate, in between two plates of plexiglass. The small holes here allow them easy access to and from the nest. It literally took them minutes to move in there. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for staying with me until the end, and see you next week for a new video. Thank you for being an enthusiast.